morning, everybody. It is Monday, October 24th. It is 1 week until Halloween. How are you all doing? This is my 31 Days of Haunted America, along with another, the fourth week of the Cryptid box as well. So let's do both of these really quick. This is Darling and Whimsy, Patience Worth's Message. Very cool. And Deanna put a little bit of information here. It looks like it's just 4 colors. It's pretty small, 77 by 125. And about Patience Worth, a ghost who was also a published poet. Patience was a spirit who began communicating through a Ouija board to a woman named Pearl Lenore Curran. Over the course of their conversations, Pearl and Patience wrote several novels, short stories, and poems that were published. Many moons ago I lived, again I came, Patience Worth my name. Walt, I would speak with thee, if thou shalt live, then so shall I. I make my bread at thy hearth. Good friends, let us be merry. The time for work is past. Let the tabby drowse and blink her wisdom into the firelog. So that's very cute. Very cute. And then, of course, our little card is also about Patience Worth. Patience was a spirit who began communicating through a Ouija board to a woman named Pearl Lenore Curran. Over the course of their conversations, Pearl and Patience wrote several novels, short stories, and poems that were published. And then she put that same little poem. Very cool. I'm kind of curious where Patience Worth lived. Hold on a second. Okay, so here's a little bit more about Patience Worth. Patience Worth was actually the spirit, and Pearl Lenore Curran is born February 1883, died December 1937. Is the person that was contacted. So what you're seeing is a picture of Pearl. Boy, that gets kind of confusing. So I wanted to see. Okay, so Pearl was born Pearl Lenora Pollard in Mound City, Illinois. Boy, that's hard to say. Family moved to Texas when she was 8 months old, and she started school when she was 6. And her family moved to St. Louis when she was 14. And then moved again to Palmer, Missouri. And then sent to Illinois for voice training before moving to Chicago. And then beginning in 1912, she and a friend were using a Ouija board, and that's when Patience Worth started contacting her. Really interesting. So anyways, if y'all are, I go to Wikipedia a lot. I mean, I realize this is information that is changed by, people. This isn't curated from an encyclopedia, but you can at least get mostly interesting information off of here, and use it as kind of a sounding board. So that's really interesting. Okay, so I'd never heard of either one, so that's really interesting. So now that I have this straight, Patience Worth is the ghost, the spirit, and then Pearl was the person who would write the poems and novels and stuff through Patience Worth's communications with her. So that's really kind of spooky, creepy, but also kind of really interesting. Okay, so there's that one. And then here is my next cryptid. Yay! I'm always looking forward to these. These are always so much fun. So, trying to make sure we have more linen, just nice plain linen. And the one thing when watching back last week's, okay, so here's the linen, and here's the pattern, and it's one page, so I'm trying to keep from showing you the actual pattern itself. But of course, this is the lovely Loch Ness Monster. Absolutely adorable. And these are really, really small. So that's awesome. So we have plenty of linen to stitch on. And of course tea, more tea, which is Nessie tea. Flavor profile says, this elusively floral white tea will softly slip in and out of your day, leaving you searching for more. Tart rosehip and hibiscus only add to the legendary quality of this lovely mix. So this one actually sounds really good. I like hibiscus. Rosehip tea is really good too, but I like hibiscus tea. So there's that. And the cute little needle minder, little Nessie needle minder. And then the colors, and there's only 5 colors it looks like, so that's nice. Nice blues and green. Oh, actually, maybe we got 2 of the 3848. No, 384748. Okay. So, 5 colors, really, really pretty. So cute. And then, of course, our card. The Loch Ness Monster, Scottish Gaelic. Ooh, I'm not pronouncing that. Affectionately known as Nessie, is a creature in Scottish folklore that is said to inhabit Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. It is often described as large, long-necked, and with 1 or more humps protruding from the water. Popular interest and belief in the creature has varied since it was brought to worldwide attention in 1933. Evidence of its existence is anecdotal, with a number of disputed photographs and sonar readings. The scientific community explains alleged sightings of the Loch Ness Monster as hoaxes, wishful thinking, and the misidentification of mundane objects. Really, really cool. Okay, so there is this week's. I started thinking the other day about this linen. We're getting, nice big cuts of it. Like, I won't need all of this, I don't think, to stitch. Like, I think that Nessie will fit on just 1/4 of this. But I realized in giving us just this really pretty neutral linen, these could all be over dyed, and we could, dye these up to certain colors or whatever. So, especially given how much extra linen we have, I may actually try that. I've got some, or I've had for quite a while, some just plain Aida cloth that I've been wanting to attempt dyeing, but these are nice pre-cut pieces, so it might actually be fun to do. So if anybody else is getting the Haunted America or the Cryptid boxes from Fangirl Fibers, you might let me know if you've had any thoughts about dyeing the fabrics that you're getting, because they're just plain linen, so that's actually really nice. And I realized too that in some of these patterns, plain linen is nice. Neutral linen is nice because then your pattern shows up really well. But otherwise, it might be kind of fun to play around with colors. So, all right, everyone. I hope you're having a good one. I will see you again shortly. Later. Bye. Well, hey, y'all. It is still Monday, the 24th. After a long day at work, working from home, I realized I'm going to probably have a longer day tomorrow, and I may not come home and feel like opening this for tomorrow, so I'm going to open it now. So I thought I would share this really quick. See if I can get this open one-handed. And this is the floss for Deanna, Darling and Whimsy's Patience Worth message. And today's card is for the Goatman's Bridge in Lantana, Texas. Passing over any bridge as antiquated and creaky as the old Alton, it's normal to feel a little unsettled. But for this particular bridge, those feelings may be more grounded than not. According to local lore, the historic Old Alton Bridge marks the entryway to the territory of a malevolent, demonic force known as the Goatman. Some even believe that crossing over the bridge at certain times of night can unlock a portal into hell itself. If you think you're brave enough to cross the haunted Goatman's Bridge, read on, but be warned, the creature is said to appear whenever someone mentions its name. Okay, well, that one's a little closer to home, so I'm not real thrilled about that. But spooky nonetheless. So that is tomorrow. So yeah, this is just a this is two of, I guess, the 4 colors needed. And so the two darker colors. The lower numbers, it's really kind of surprising. I had put in an order through DMC's website for all the low numbers because I did not have them, or except for like maybe one that I bought a while back, just because the stores near me, like Joann's and Michael's, just don't carry the lower numbers or don't have very many of them, or they're always out of stock. So yeah, maybe they were having a hard time putting this box together, getting enough of the flosses together to stock all of these. So anyway, so that's nice that we got those 2 flosses. And for the evening, I think I'm going to take a break from my trimming the tree. There's no real deadline for that. I'm really close to a finish, but I want a break tonight. So I've decided one of 2 things. Either, well, and probably maybe I'll spend an hour on both. So I definitely want to work on Kari's pumpkin patch. I haven't worked on it any more than my little bit of the pumpkin face over the weekend. But then I started thinking about these, and I really kind of want to do these. So I haven't quite decided which one I want to do first. But what I did was I pulled a couple of ornament cuts. And then for the DMC, the solid color for each one, I will still use the variegated because the variegated is what's in the center, and I want that look. And Leo and Roxy doesn't have a whole lot of variegated threads, at least not variegated to that degree. So what I thought I'd do was pull a Leo and Roxy for the solid for the outline. So for this one, I pulled a much darker green called Green and Barrett. If I can get this out. Tuck that in so well. So Green and Barrett. So that is the green I picked for Squatch. And then I had just a little bit left of this original skein of Merlot. And I think they have since, or Carrie at Leo and Roxy, the dyer, I think has since done a second dye lot. Basically, the next time she dyed up a bunch of Merlot, it was slightly different, so it's a new dye lot. So this is from the original dye lot, and I had just a little bit left. And obviously, there's not a whole lot to stitch. It's all basically back stitch, because what you're actually cross stitching is the variegated color. So I think this will be enough to do that. And I just pulled a couple of ornament cuts, so that's my Chupacabra colors right there. And that's my Squatch colors right there. So I think they will look really, really cute. So I can't decide which one I'm going to do first, but I'm definitely going to do them both here, sooner rather than later. So that will be my stitching for the evening. Oh, y'all. It is Wednesday the 26th. It has been a long day of remote working and a long day, long evening. May says hello if you hear her. I've been trying to go through this room a little bit. I bought some Rubbermaid totes to reorganize some stuff in here, and I'm kind of sweaty, y'all. So it is, like I said, Wednesday. I am watching Carla at Cobweb Corner. She just posted a short little video of some of the patterns she just got in. It looks like in time for Halloween and autumn. So I'm watching that and a few other things in my queue. And then here is my 31 Days of Haunted America for today. And let's see if I can get this open. It's another piece of nice linen. And as I mentioned previously, I think these are great because these are just nice, neutral. So if you wanted to dye them, you know, color them yourselves, that would be great. She's giving us really nice big pieces. I mean, this is still folded in half. So definitely feel like I'm getting my money's worth in linen for this box. And today's spooky story is about Emily's Bridge in Stowe, Vermont. Built in 1844, Emily's Bridge in Stowe, Vermont was just 50 feet long over Goldbrook and was covered with dark wood that the elements haven't been merciful on ever since. But around the time the bridge was built, that dark wood was still new, smelling of fresh pine, and creaked every time a horse-drawn wagon crossed it. A young woman named Emily planned to elope with her love. Their meeting place was this same bridge. But when he didn't show, Emily, filled with despair, hanged herself from the rafters of the Goldbrook Bridge. Stories started making the rounds in the area of sightings of young Emily lurking around the bridge. Not the sweet and sorrowful Emily we learned about, but a vengeful Emily full of wrath and apparently long nails. Emily was understandably upset at being jilted. Anybody would be. But for Emily to take it out on passing cars? Some would consider that overdramatic, but that's Emily. She started slashing cars passing over the bridge, leaving scars not unlike those left by Wolverine of X-Men fame. Even pedestrians crossing Emily's covered bridge are not safe, and the marks on their backs bear witness to Emily's fury, which hasn't abated even after all these years. So that's kind of creepy. Sounds like another haunted bridge. If anybody's familiar with the Headless Horseman story, of course, that ghost story as well involved crossing a bridge. So very, very, very creepy. So that is today's. We only have a few days left. 5 more. And I will just show you the little bit of stitching I worked on yesterday and a little bit this morning. Last night and a little bit this morning. So this is one of the cryptid patterns we got in the 5 weeks of cryptid box from Fangirl Fibers. This is one of Michelle's, the CC Cuties. And it's hard to tell right now because what I'm filling in is basically the background. So let me get my little thread here out of the way a little bit. But essentially, if you can kind of see it, this is where the tail will be. So you can see kind of all the little spikes in the tail. So that's the tail, and then it comes around, and then this is where that little loop is around the head right there. So I am basically doing all the fill-in work first. So, and it's kind of, I guess the best way to describe it is it's very careful stitching. This last little bit I must have pulled out a couple of times and restitched because every time I'd find a spot to kind of benchmark where I've stitched before, I was off this one stitch this direction or off one stitch this direction. So yeah, it's taken a little bit to get that little bit done. But I got a few stitches in, and because it's a paper pattern, I'm so used to being able to zoom in or mark, stitches to keep track of where I am in a pattern. So usually with paper patterns, I will put a post-it over, just certain areas of the pattern just so I can concentrate on a certain section. And I am using the floss, the variegated floss that was given to us, so you can definitely see variegation in the purple and the gray and then the yellowy color. And then I will go and do all the back stitch in this Leo and Roxy. So that will be my Chupacabra. And then I didn't get much. Trimming the tree, same as it ever was. Didn't touch that. And then I didn't get much more done, but I did get a bit more done on Kari's Midnight at the Pumpkin Patch. So you can actually start to see my little pumpkin face now. Isn't it cute? And this pink is so pretty. This is the lighter of the two pinks, but you can definitely pick up the variegation, the lighter pink versus the darker spots. And this is, I mentioned it once before, but I'll mention it again. I am actually pulling one thread and stitching 1/2, and this is a 32 count linen. And this is my first time doing it. It doesn't look terrible. The crosses are definitely more obvious, like when they're not quite, perfectly, like when they're a little bit wonky or lean one way or the other. But I still think it's very, very cute. And my hope was that, because the fabric was sparkly, that maybe a little more of the sparkle might show through if I didn't stitch as densely with the thread. So that's what I think I'm going to do. Carla is still going through patterns along with her kitty by her side, going through stuff that she's received, new patterns that she's probably getting ready to post on her website. And I'm going to stitch, I'm probably going to put in a couple of threads on this and probably just finish up the thread that I still have going. Just finish up this one thread on this one for this evening. So that will be my stitching plans for the rest of the evening. I'm going to take a break from the organizing I was doing just because I'm truly dripping in sweat. It's really humid. and it's 70 degrees, but it's a humid 70 here. So, yeah, it doesn't take much when you're moving and shaking. So hope you all are doing well, and I will see you again later. Bye for now. Well, hey y'all, it is Thursday, October the 27th. It is in the evening, and I thought I would open today's 31 Days of Haunted America from Fangirl Fibers. And if I can get it open, today looks like we got some tea called Winchester Mansion. And the tea profile for this says, what does one do when trapped in a haunted house? Drink reassuring tea, of course. This woody chocolate and orange tea will help you survive any ordeal. So that sounds pretty good. The one thing, in every single one of these I've received, I wish they said what the caffeine range was. So hopefully if I go to T-Source's website, maybe they'll have a little bit more information. But of course, in addition, there is also a card for the Mark Twain House in Hartford, Connecticut. Twain lived at this address from 1900 to 1901, and if you visit it, you will see a small bronze plaque in his honor. The beautiful 1830s townhome already had a reputation for being haunted at the time he moved in. Twain, though, was an inveterate skeptic who mocked the idea of ghosts and refused to believe in the unexplained. He even expressed his disbelief in a short story appropriately called A Ghost Story, in which a ghost haunted his own fake corpse. Even the sight of a truly unexplained phenomena couldn't shake Twain's skepticism. One night he saw a piece of kindling wood moving by itself near the fireplace. He grabbed a pistol and shot at it. The kindling fell to the floor, where Twain saw a few drops of blood. No intruders, human or animal, were ever found to explain the event. Though Twain sniffed, he was sure it was a rat, and still refused to believe that what he had seen sprung from supernatural sources. These days, Twain's ghost is said to appear to current residents of 14 West 10th Street, on the first floor and at the lower level landing of the staircase. Some say the house is haunted by no fewer than 22 spirits, the ghosts of people who formerly lived and died in the house. Perhaps Twain does take his place amongst the cavalcade of shades, or perhaps is merely wishful thinking on the part of those who spot the spirit. After all, who doesn't love a good celebrity ghost? So that is today's. And just briefly, I haven't done a lot of stitching these last couple of days. It's been kind of busy, and I've been trying to catch up on a lot of household type stuff. And I think, as I mentioned in my previous post from yesterday, I've been doing some organizing in here, so I'm probably going to spend a little bit of time with that while I've got it, and then I'll do a little bit of stitching. But I'll show you the little bit that I've worked on. Of course, this is Michelle Bendy's CC Cuties, the Chupacabra. I didn't get a whole lot done, but I did get a bit of this up and around, and I'm going to basically, I've got this little bit up here at the tail, but I just need to go in and fill in all of this. This is kind of the section I'm working on right here on the right side of the tail. And then I did actually get a bit more done on, this is Uncanny Kari's Midnight at the Pumpkin Patch. So the pink, the light pink is the center of the pumpkin. I basically got the pumpkin done, the center pumpkin done, and then I started doing the outline. So the next thing will be the greens. There's a green stem, of course, at the top, and then I've got some leaves coming down here. So I'd like to get all 4 colors stitched just to see how they look together, and then of course from there just expand outwards. So, but he's so happy, he looks so cute. I'm really excited about that. And as I mentioned before, I am stitching this 1/2, and from here this doesn't look too bad, but there are definitely some spots where using one thread does kind of lend itself to noticing errors. You don't have as much full coverage, so if there's a snag or if there's a kink or something in your thread, sometimes it's a little more obvious, but the sparkle's definitely showing up, so that's nice. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting a little bit more color work done, get some of the green in, and I will catch up with you all tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. It's an office day for me, but I think it might be a good one. There's not a whole lot to do in the office, and it's kind of towards the end of the month, so I will catch up with you all tomorrow and let you know what my weekend plans are. Hope you're having a good one. See you later. Well, hey everybody, it is Friday, yay, October 28th, and here is my 31 Days of Haunted America that I thought I would open. It means there are only 3 left after today. Oh yeah, we got another stitch marker. Says, I like long romantic walks through haunted houses. That may not be true for me. I don't necessarily like haunted houses. My anxiety gets the better of me. So yeah, not necessarily, but I do like the needle minder done by Fangirl Fibers. Very, very, very cute. All right, and today's card is all about the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast in Fall River, Massachusetts. The Lizzie Borden house in Fall River, Massachusetts is the site of one of the country's most infamous crimes. Even if you don't know much about New England history, you've probably heard the rhyme about the axe and the 40 whacks. Andrew and Abby Borden were murdered with an axe in 1892, and Andrew's daughter, Abby's stepdaughter, Lizzie, was tried and acquitted of the crime. The trial became one of the most widely circulated news stories of the day, and even though Lizzie was set free, she was never truly forgiven by the public, as they suspected she was the true killer. The home is now a fully functional bed and breakfast, housing guests from all over the country. You can even stay in the Lizzie suite and sleep in the bed she slept in. Reports consist of spectral cats, apparitions, self-rocking rocking chairs, and even that Lizzie herself still haunts the home, choking guests that lay in her bed. The dining room table on which guests enjoy their meals is where Abby and Andrew were autopsied. Guests who stay at the Lizzie Borden house have captured photos of strange anomalies floating by their beds, noises coming from inside wardrobes, footsteps, laughter, like that of Lizzie's the morning of the murders, and some have even reported being touched by an unseen hand while they slept. Okay, so yeah, even that one creeps me out. That will never be on any bucket list of mine to ever visit that bed and breakfast or house or any of that. That is entirely too much creepy spookiness for me. Okay, so, but that is really, really, really cute. Okay, So, I mentioned last night that I was going to work on this, and I got that first little middle pumpkin done. I'm so excited. Such a happy little cute pumpkin. There's another little kind of small one right there. I did not work anymore on the Chupacabra, so I will have this weekend to work on both of these. And tonight there will be another Stitch that will drop. So, or another section of the Stitch that will drop. So I've got my Stitch here that I can work on probably in the morning. They drop, or they do all their weekly announcements and fun and stuff around 9 p.m. Eastern, which is 8 here. So I'm usually in bed or getting ready for bed when I'm watching it on social media. So I'll probably get up first thing in the morning, and hopefully it'll be another nice short stitch and get that out of the way. Other than that, that is all I've got. I think sometime tomorrow, if I remember, I actually cracked open that Windsor Mansion tea. And as you can see, there's a little sachet with the tea in it. I did not know it till I opened it, but each one of those Teasaurus teas has the little sachet in it and just enough, like an ounce, to fill it up. So tomorrow I might show you, I will definitely drink another one, so I'll try to remember to record so you guys can see what it looks like. But yeah, I kind of got over my fear of the loose leaf really quickly because I realized they provided you everything you needed to drink a cup of tea. So that was really awesome. Other than that, oh, and yeah, my yarn baller cup. On that note, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put a picture here. I was watching the Witchy Knits podcast this evening, and she just released a free pattern if you're on Ravelry. And I'll try to remember also to put the link here, because she had it in her drop down on her YouTube video. But it's the piebald socks, and I think I might pull out some scraps because this is meant to be kind of a colorful, scrappy sock. And I think I might get started on those. I finally got all my few knitting whips organized in one tote, and then all of my cross stitch whips and like kitted starts and stuff in the other tote. So I think what I'm going to try to do is my knitted whips, all of my sock whips are in like one bag, and I actually pulled one of them out today or this week, I guess, and just kind of worked on it briefly when I had 10 or 15 minutes here or there, and just needed a little bit of a mental break. But I think I'm going to go through that bag probably this evening and kind of clean it out, because it's got all my double pointed needles that I've used in the past for sock knitting and stuff like that, and go through it and kind of organize everything, and then see if I can find some scraps to do those socks or to do a pair of socks with. So those are kind of my immediate plans. In addition, I'm sure there will be some folks on either YouTube or Twitch live this weekend that I'm sure I will be watching. And I've got a few things I'd like to catch up on. Lola Bean Yarn Co. Adela and her husband, Jimmy the Model, did 2 really long Rhinebeck reviews, which I have never seen them for any length of time like that. They're both like over an hour long, maybe even 2 hours a piece. And I've heard good things about how entertaining they are, so I want to watch those. And then I've got I am still on the first few rows of my Stephen West Twist and Turns. If I get anything done on that, anything significant done on that, I might show it. Right now, it doesn't look like much of anything, but if you've been following that pattern at all, there were only 4 parts, and the 4th part has dropped. So I've saved all of those videos as well in YouTube for when I get around to it. But that first section, once I get past it, I think I'll be fine, but it is so labor intensive, and watching other people describe how long it takes them to do it, and the fact that like he dropped that second section so fast and people were just not ready for it. I think it's given me a mental block. I love my colors. I love the yarn. I really like the look of the shawl. I have not seen the fourth section. I've only seen the first three, but I do want to knit it. It's just, I think it's going to be one of those, I'll get it done when I get it done. So anyway, I've talked long enough for the evening, and I hope you all have a good one, and I will catch you again later. Bye for now. Well, hey everybody. It is Sunday afternoon, just a little bit past noon, and I wanted to show you, I mentioned in one of my previous deals that these are basically self-contained one serving tea packages. So I was going to fix this Nessie today, and so I thought I would show you exactly what is inside, and show you how convenient these actually are. So the first thing I'm going to do is tear off the top, and this is the one that's the hibiscus rose hip, and I've got my tea boiling over there, so you may hear the kettle because it's on auto warm. You may hear it go off a couple of times here. For some reason I didn't hear this. There we go. Enough. So what I wanted to show you was inside this is actually a sachet that you put your tea in. So it's actually designed to hold one serving of tea. It's got a little pocket here, and then you basically pour your tea in this sachet and then fold it over, and basically the water kind of seals it shut. So hold on a second, and I'm going to pour, and what they give you is about an ounce of tea, so it's just perfect for like 1 cup. So hold on just a second. Okay, because these were rose hip and hibiscus, I knew they were going to be larger pieces, and that is Kip in the background talking. But I wanted to show you. So basically it fills up about half of the little sachet. So I would just, in my case, fold this over like that. Make sure it's just folded down really well. Set it in my cup. And then, like I said, the water kind of seals the sachet shut. And that is pretty much it. At that point, I just let it sit for a few minutes. You can see there were pretty hibiscus leaves. I spilled a few on the counter here trying to pour this. So there is just enough for a single cup of tea, which is great, unless you like yours kind of weak, and then you could probably get a second cup out of it. But that is pretty much it. So I will let my tea steep. I might add a little bit of stevia sweetener or something like that. But that is all she wrote. See, there's enough sunlight in here, but that light really doesn't help that much over the oven because it's kind of a softer light. But that is it. So I'm gonna let it steep. But I thought I would just show you all what those packages of tea actually look like, just to give you an idea. So if you ever do get the Fangirl Fibers boxes, you know when you get the tea, it is pretty much self-contained, and all you have to do is assemble your tea bag and steep to your liking. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you all later. Bye for now. Well, good morning, everybody. It is actually early Sunday morning, the 30th, and I realized in getting out these today that I never opened up yesterday. So we're going to do that really quick. I am watching The Knitting Nurse, Jasmine, and yeah, yesterday was just, it wasn't really busy. I think I was exhausted from the past couple of weeks and wanted to catch up on sleep and just rest and other things. So I did some stitching. I'll show you here in a minute. But I think the day got away from me because I took a nap and did all the other kind of regular non-stitchy things. So, pardon me. So yeah, just never got around to opening this. So here it is. This is for Saturday the 29th, and this feels like floss, and it is. This is probably the floss for the last pattern, which I will have to pull out because it's kind of funny how these are kind of spaced out. And actually, this might be the pattern that it's for right here. So let me put these out of the way and get the card, which is for the House of the Seven Gables in Salem, Massachusetts. They say that there is no house in Salem more haunted than the Turner Ingersoll, better known as the House of the Seven Gables. With its Gothic-inspired cross gables and darkest coffee wood clapboards, Turner and Ingersoll's famous House of the Seven Gables looks like something out of a Hansel and Gretel spinoff. For many years, there have been a number of spirits reported at the Turner and Ingersoll mansion. In the famous secret staircase, visitors have witnessed the spirit of a man clambering up and down the stairs. Those who have seen him are quick to link his spectral existence to the Underground Railroad. But the Turner House, even during the 18th and 19th centuries, was never a stop on the Underground Railroad. And those secret steps were not even built until nearly 50 years after the closing of the Civil War. Others report seeing a phantom boy who enjoys playing in the attic. Throughout the day, his little footsteps can be heard pouncing around upstairs as he giggles and laughs. According to one historian, the attic space once functioned as the servants' quarters for the property. Is it possible, then, that the ghostly boy is none other than one of the servants who once lived there? So, there's another haunted part of Salem, Massachusetts. And yeah, let me get some of this floss out of the way here. And here is today's the 30th, which means tomorrow is Halloween. And the last day for both my Haunted America box and also my my 5 Weeks of Cryptid box. Oh, so this is Bendy's, Michelle's Winchester house. And yes, these are definitely the colors that go with this. So very, very, very cool. That is very awesome. She had mentioned this in one of her lives for her patrons as to whether or not it had been opened yet. And I think a couple of people had completely gone through their boxes. That we didn't get to, or we didn't know where it was in the box. So the people that completely went through them said, oh yeah, it's in there. It's great. It's awesome. But I didn't know where it would end up being. So Michelle mentions, I was so excited when Emily asked me to be part of her 31 Days of a Haunted America box. I had a vision of the travelers, box recipients, going to each place on the list and picking up souvenirs if they survived. So this is my contribution, a little memento of the most haunted house in America, the Winchester House. So that is very, very cool. Oh, I was flipped it over because I wanted to see. It's 90 by 61, so it's kind of a big one. 2,900 stitches isn't terrible. A lot of the ones I've been doing lately have been in the 2,000 range, but that's almost 3,000. So that is a bit bigger. So there's that. So let me show you, since I mentioned, oh, and let me get I feel the card. Hold on here. I forgot there's probably a card in here too. There it is. Ta-da! And it is for the Winchester Mystery House. It is a mansion in San Jose, California that was once the personal residence of Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearms magnate William Wirt Winchester. The house became a tourist attraction 9 months after Winchester's death in 1922. The Victorian and Gothic style mansion is renowned for its size and its architectural curiosities. Despite it being considered one of the most haunted places in the world, there's no evidence to support this belief. Much of the lore of the Winchester house and its owner has not been verified and is often proven false. So very cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so there's the card. So let me show you what I've been working on. Speaking of Michelle, I finished the last bit of trimming the tree. Yay! So that's my Leo and Roxy conversion. I need to decide how I'm going to finish it, but it is done. So I got that done yesterday. So that was kind of my big push to finish that. So I didn't feel like I had too many things going on at the same time. And I needed to pull, because I'll show you here in a minute, some of those flosses overlap with another one I started, so, of hers. So I needed to kind of put them back with the original one that I was stitching. And then I got a little bit more done. I got all of this basically around on her Chupacabra. And of course I'm using the called for the floss that was given to us in the cryptid box. And then I'm going to do the back stitching with the Leo and Roxy Merlot. And then really quick I will show you, because part 3 dropped of Stitch, and it's definitely not something that you have to worry so much about whether or not the kids are in the room. They've definitely added some letters, so added some I's, added what I believe is maybe an S, and then some kind of little thing here. But most of the stitching was actually this green leafy bit, and then we did one more outline of that flower at the top. So but that is it. And then all my little pieces, my strands, go back or stay with it till I'm, till I use them, because we're not done yet. It goes through. We were on Discord the other day talking about it. I think it goes through like I want to say I think the last date for everything is like the day after Christmas. So we're going to be going for a while. Okay, so there's my Chupacabra. And then, so as I mentioned before, some of the colors in my Trimming the Tree are in this piece that I actually is one of the first conversions, or not first, very first, but one of the ones that kind of got me going on converting Michelle's stuff. And this is her Hildyberry, her Hildy Strawberry Patch. So I have had this much done for quite a while. The one exception, or a couple of exceptions, is when I first started this, before I decided I wanted to convert this, I had done the head of this ladybug and the eye, I think, but definitely the black. So everything that you see is black on the ladybug is 310, because I had already begun doing that. And I think maybe even the little bees are 310. But then the eye, and then a couple of these petals, not all of them, but a couple of them are also, and maybe the wings, the eye, the wings, and maybe part of the petals on this one are the original, which I think recommended, which was B5200. But I kind of used this as a way to gauge how close this is Weathered White from Leo and Roxy, and I kind of was curious. So since I only had like half of this flower done, and you're not going to be able to see it here, I don't think I can zoom in. Oh yeah, I can. There we go. It's not that great of a camera. I mean, it's my phone, but so there are some subtle differences between B5200 and Weathered White, and there's cat hair on my my project, but that's okay. There are some subtle differences, but not a lot. So that's kind of my plan is, or at this point, I have done all the other white you've seen I have done in Weathered White. And then there are 3 bats at the top here that I think I'm going to do in charcoal. And charcoal is kind of the, I wouldn't say the darkest black, but it's definitely the darkest in the black family that Leo and Roxy have. So I'm going to do them separately just to kind of see. But it's really obvious when you're using DMC that there is no variegation, whereas when you're using a variegated, subtle variegated floss, like in the Ladybug, you can tell there's variation in that color when you have a large swath of it. And your eyes are not deceiving you. There are actually two different purples. the wise but maybe not so wise choice in doing this was I picked two purples that were variegated that kind of variegate into one another. So there are definitely two, a light and a dark. Her dress is meant to look like polka dotted, but it's kind of hard to tell because the light has just enough dark in it, and the dark, I think it's iris and wisteria, but they have just enough of each other in their threads that they kind of start to blend together after a little while. So, but that is it. But I'm about 70-something% done with this one, so I'm pretty close to a finish on this one too. Probably won't get done, definitely won't get done today. I've got, chores to do and grocery shopping and that kind of thing. But hopefully I'll get a little bit further along on this. But that is it. And then my, if you want to see it, my pumpkin patch, Kari's pumpkin patch is right where I left it. I haven't done any more stitching on that. The Salacious Squad, if you follow them on Instagram, I'll put the hashtag here. They are doing a start of that pattern, a stitch along of that pattern, starting tomorrow. So, you'll probably see a lot more pictures on Instagram of that. So, one more time, there's Winchester House. I might, I don't think I'm going to start this just right away, but I might look and see, Tombstone from Color and Cotton. I might look and see, or Overdyed Fabric from your box. I might see if I can find something. It looks kind of, if it's Tombstone, that means it's meant to be kind of a grayish color, but that almost looks kind of purpley a little bit. So we'll see if, maybe if I can find something that might be suited for that. That might also be another good Leo and Roxy conversion, you think? What do you think? It might be. I might be able to find some of those yellows and greens. I've definitely done some greens now. Leo and Roxy. Might be worth trying. Might be worth trying. I definitely see some matching colors in there. Oh, not the reds, but the yellow. And maybe not that brown, but yeah, that yellow and that green. Might have to think about it, guys. And the black. Even though I think that's like a dark purpley blue. So maybe I can find something for that too. I'll have to think about it. And actually, I think I've got my next round of Leo and Roxy subscriptions in the mail today. So maybe you want to check the mail. I'll find some more good colors. So, all right, y'all. I will see you later. And, tomorrow's Halloween. Get some good stitching done. See ya.